And as Executive Vice President for Europe, this year I want to begin with thanking each one of you who made tonight possible, because as always we say, we can't achieve anything without having the people, the members of JCI who are attending, who are doing stuff, who are impacting the society. First, to all of the speakers and panelists, thank you for being open, being ready, and being present to share your wisdom, to share experience, and to just spread the word about the things that you're believing in and things you're doing. Of course, to the President Lars, thank you for taking on the important role of facilitating all this and guiding us through the evening, and also doing this technical magic with Zoom that we are going to enjoy tonight. And to everyone who joined this online space that we have, thank you for showing up, not with just your time, but for your intention to bring something on the table, to be present, and to have your voice about the things that we believe in and the human duties, which is the day-to-day. Tonight, it's not just about raising awareness. Of course, it's important, but it's also about reminding ourselves what it means to be responsible leaders and engaged citizens. So we often speak of rights, and it's absolutely okay to do it because it's important. But it is also important that we don't pair them with the duties to one another, to our communities, and to our planet as well. And there is one story that I recently come across too, that for me captures perfectly what is this all about. It's called the broken windows theory. And it's about a neighborhood where someone breaks a small window and no one fixed it. Over the time, more windows is shattered, some graffiti appears, and there is a lot of trash coming, and it became a not very nice place to live and quite unsafe. Not because of one big disaster or something that was happening or some nature thing, but because of countless moments of inaction by the people, by the local people. So the message from this story is, I believe, quite clear. When no one takes responsibility, the case spreads. But when someone steps up to repair just one window, the first window that was broken, or to clean up, it can change everything. It says we care. It says that we are those who have to act. And that's the spirit of JCI, and that's the spirit of human duties. It's not about some big gesture, some big achievement, big actions. It's about showing up every day, making small things in our communities to make them stronger, and also to show that we are kinder and more just society. And this idea is no longer just a declaration, it's a global movement. Since its launch in 2022, the Universal Declaration for Human Duties for Leaders has received incredible support. For His Excellency Ban Ki-moon, former UN Secretary General, who has endorsed it as a moral compass for those who strive to lead by example. And we also have nearly 40,000 people worldwide that have signed the petition we have, including close to 3,000 from Europe. And I'm sure we can be more from Europe. So I'm encouraging to spread the word. And just last month, Zulia in Venezuela made a history by becoming the first region in the world to enact a law based on the JCI Declaration of Human Duties. I assume that President Argenis can tell more about it. And this legislation serves as a good example, that a model that we can actually implement in other places. So this is my call to action to all of us here. What if our cities, our regions, even our countries follow this lead of the region in Venezuela? What if human duties become not just a message, but a mandate across Europe and the world? And that begins with us. So here is how we continue. Signing the petition if you haven't done it yet. I'm sure that all of us here has done it, but the next thing is to share it in our communities, in our workplaces, in schools, governments, everywhere that we have like some reach. Organize human activities throughout the year, not just today, every day, with our actions or small activities. Just relate them to the human duties and communicate this as something that we believe in. And let's be the one to fix the first window that I was mentioning in the story. the one who lead not just with ambition, but with accountability, with the care, and with action. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making this moment count, and let's carry forward together. And I'm giving back the word to President Lars to continue with the next part.
Well, thank you very much for that. I think it's absolutely wonderful. Being a JCI member for more than 30 years, I think the human duties is something that really, really speaks to me. And it does not only speak to me, but it also speaks to others. Let's hear the words from our former SG of United Nations, Ban Ki-moon.
Dear global citizens, it is my great pleasure to support the International Human Duties Initiative. I thank JCI for launching this timely and important movement. It reminds us that leadership is not about power or position, but about responsibility. In today's world, where democratic values and shared progress are threatened, we all have a collective responsibility to act. The 7 duties of leadership: to preserve life, serve humanity, to protect the planet, pursue prosperity, respect others, promote education, and lead with care, offer a clear moral compass. They provide guidance not only for those in positions of authority, but for every one of us who seeks to lead by example. These duties are deeply connected to the Sustainable Development Goals. The SDGs are our global blueprint for a better future and reflect our shared promise to protect our planet, to build peaceful and just societies, and to leave no one behind. As co-chair of the Ban Ki-moon Center for Global Citizens, I am proud to work with the JCI. I appreciate your ongoing efforts to establish the International Human Duties Day. Let us lead with responsibility and act with passion and compassion. Let us build a more just, peaceful, and sustainable world. Thank you.
Well, it is amazing what can happen when things are there, and I also see that my camera just choose to not to work, which is absolutely amazing. I'll find another one in just a second to let you all in here. Just a second. I'll make sure that this will all appear for you guys again. Here we are. So I'm back again here. Well, it is wonderful that we have these human duties, and I really think that we need to be proud of what we actually do as leaders in JCI. We have had a lot of great leaders on our way. Please, while I'm going to run through a very quick presentation of the 7 human duties, and I want you at the same time to write your comments on what does human duties mean to you. And I'm just going to be ready so that you're ready to share with us in a few moments what is going on there. So let's see the human duties. So if we look at the human duties, there are many things that we can do, and I need to find my camera again. Don't worry, it's coming here. Here we go. Like this. Oh, that was another one. So let's see how many cameras do we actually have. Well, there's a lot here. So so the human duties are something that is really important to us. And the first one of the 7 human duties is to preserve life. And when we're looking at what it actually means to preserve life, I think that there are something that we really need to make sure that that the earth is there for us to use, but also actually to be there to live in a certain way. We need to make sure that we protect human dignity, that we make sure that everybody feels important, that everybody feels that they have a purpose here on earth. But it also means that we care not only for ourselves, but also for those around us and the communities around us, that we actually take responsibility. And that we, of course, promote long-term peace, because long-term peace is something that is not easily achieved. It is in our JCI foundation. That's really the core of our organization, is to promote both peace, but also inclusion and prosperity for all, the diversity in human personality. It's also to serve humanity, to make sure that we respect and care for others and for every single individual, no matter where they are in society. And of course, to contribute to a safe and fair community that we're in. It's also to pursue prosperity, really making sure that we not only preserve, protect, and encourage the freedom to pursue enterprise, but we also uphold our individual and communal responsibility to add value to the economy and health. Not only for ourselves, because we can have prosperity, but it's only worth if the prosperity that we are achieving is also benefiting the better good. And I'm not necessarily talking about socialism or communism or anything else. I'm just talking about the human value of sharing. I strongly believe that leaders are those who give more than they gain, and I think that that's the kind of leadership we should actually really put forward. It's also to respect human personality, that cherish, that we have diverse opinions. We see conflicts in countries countries that we've admired for centuries that are now in big conflicts. We have several of us living in countries where the differences in opinions actually means that we stop listening to each other. But that is where the respect for human personality really comes in. And we need to be observant of each other, curious about other opinions, willingness to be flexible in where we're going. And of course, remembering that we are different, that there are different cultures, there are different ways of living, and we should respect them all. We should not try to enforce our way of living on anyone. But of course, we need to make sure that everybody have the right to live the way that they want. One of the things that we really take care of in JCI is to educate ourselves, and of course to teach others. And I think that really promoting that everybody in this world needs the opportunity to have a well-educated life, because that is what leads to democracy. That is what leads to prosperity in countries. That we actually have the opportunities to live our full potential. And for that, of course, we need training, we need education, and JCI is doing a lot of that and really helping us do that. I'm just letting a couple of other people come into the room as well. But it is also to use and enhance skills, knowledge, and talents to uplift others. And that's our purpose. It is to make sure that the talents we're given is not only serving ourselves, but really serving others to the best possible way. And then, of course, we need to lead responsibly. We need to make sure that we are ready to serve and to lead and to do great things. So these are the human duties. That's what we're here for. That's what we're really aiming for. And I would love to see from you guys what is actually the things that you're thinking about when you're doing this. So please add in your notes, add in the comments. What are your thoughts on human duties? What is actually the things that is coming close to you? And we're having a few more coming in. So what are the thoughts that you're having? What do you think? What is most important for you when we're talking about human duties? What do they actually mean to you? So write a comment and send it in the chat. Just write a comment in the chat and send it. You don't have to write many words, just a little bit. It's fine. Let's see what's coming up. For me, it's a way of life, a duty to be a humanist, is a comment from Olesia. Comment from Alicia. We said here, Patricia Ronzoni is to respect people and the earth, is a good comment. It's right, empower us, duties, connect us. I love that word. That sounds really amazing. We have be the leader in your own life and inspire others every day. Amazing. Upholding people's dignity, inspiration, guideline, invitations to contemplation and curiosity. Human duties are guidelines to a meaningful life, showing up for others, respect, kindness, responsibility. from Anastasia. So a lot of different words are coming up, and I love that that there are so many ways of actually seeing this. It's to look out for others, for our common good, says Richie. Yana says, I love the simple point that we are all responsible for our own life and for others. Absolutely. It's pretty simple. It's a simple point, but maybe more difficult to live for some than others. I would like to introduce you to a guy who I had the fortune to talk to just last night. Bruce Rector is the 2003 JCI President, and we have him. He's actually attending a Harvard program for mayors from around the world, being selected out of thousands of mayors to be part of this program. And let's listen to what Bruce thinks about human duties. Well, today we are so lucky to have Bruce Rector with us. Bruce Rector is an American attorney, author, and civic leader with a distinguished career in both international and local leadership. He currently serves as the 36th mayor of Clearwater, Florida, having been elected in March 2024 with 63% of the votes. Before his mayoral tenure, Rector held the position of general counsel to the sports facilities companies in Clearwater, starting in 2015. His commitment to community service is evident through his involvement in various organizations, including serving as chair of Jolly Trolley Transportation of Clearwater and vice chair of the city's Community Development Board. Internationally, Rector made a significant impact as the 58th president of JCI in 2003, during which he traveled to nearly 50 countries, engaging with young leaders and entrepreneurs across 110 nations. His experiences during this period have greatly influenced his leadership style and dedication to community service. An accomplished author, Rector penned Monday Morning Messages, Teaching, Inspiring, and Motivating to Lead in 2005. The book has received endorsements from renowned authors such as Ken Blanchard and Stephen Covey, and is utilized globally as a leadership training resource. In his role as mayor, Rector focuses on economic development, transportation, redevelopment, attainable housing, and sports tourism, aiming to position Clearwater as a pivotal city within the Tampa Bay region. Born in Anderson, Indiana in 1963, Rector earned his Juris Doctor from the University of Kentucky in 1990 and practiced law there for 23 years before relocating to Florida. Well, I'll call you President Bruce because that's what you are to me, serving together on the International Board many years ago. It's such an honor to have you here and today on the Human Duties Day, really focusing on why it's not enough to have rights, but why it's also really important that we as leaders take up the duties and take them seriously. So Bruce, where does your sense of duty come from?
Well, I think my sense of duty comes from my upbringing too. My family, all of my family, my grandparents, my parents were very civically engaged. They cared about their community, and they often put others before themselves. So that upbringing, and then I just continued that experience throughout my own life, getting involved in JCI at the local level and working all the way up to the international level. That spirit of community service and putting others first in my community, serving others and serving my community and trying to do my part to make our community better. That was something that was part of my family experience, and it just went on to flourish in my role as JCI president eventually.
And now, after some years, you've taken on a new position as mayor of Clearwater. How do you see duties play a role in the development of a community like Clearwater?
What's the human experience in everything I do? Today, we had two horrific hurricane experiences this past fall in September and October. The first one, we had 8 feet of storm surge. Our prior record on our islands here that are part of the city of Clearwater was 4 feet. So we had devastation throughout homes and businesses. And so for 2 days afterwards, I couldn't get around by car, but I pulled out a bicycle and I rode up and down the miles of our islands and our beaches, going door to door, just being a shoulder for folks to cry on, making sure that they knew that our city and I was there to help them in their time of need. They may not have been ready for me that day, but I wanted to make sure that I made a contact with them to know that as we rebuilt, as they recovered, that we would be there for them. And so why was I inspired to do that? And I got a compliment on it just today on the way here as I was getting ready for this interview. Why did I do that? Well, because of my life experience, all the way from my family experiences I shared. But that's what I really took out of being not just JCI president, but my entire experience with JCI is that human touch. Some of my best experiences as JCI president weren't giving big speeches or meeting famous people. Some of my best and most memorable experiences were riding in a car with someone who was assigned to pick me up at the airport and take me from one place to another, and hearing their life story and hearing how sometimes challenging their life was and interesting their life was in many ways. That human experience that I got throughout my family history, but definitely through JCI, really brings that home to me in my service today as mayor.
When you serve as a mayor, and of course you meet both opponents and you meet a lot of adversity. We've seen that in the news. Even here in Denmark, we saw you during the horrible hurricane in October last year. What kind of the human duties do you see as being the most important one for you to live? Because it's so easy to kind of to set them up, but it's also takes a challenge to actually lead them.
I think one of the things I'm always careful about is understanding how my leadership, how our local government's leadership affects people. And for me, I'm always thinking about what ordinance we're passing or what rule are we enforcing, tax we're imposing. How does that affect the most vulnerable people in our community? Because I feel like it's a human duty for me as a leader to make sure that those who are most vulnerable in our community are taken care of. Today, I went to a recreation center here in the city where our county juvenile welfare board is passing out free books to children who can't afford to buy, or the parents can't afford to buy them reading material. So they have a bus that goes around, the kids come on, I help them pick out their books today. But it's identifying those needs that are the most important to the most vulnerable among us. Those are the ones that I have a particular heart for, and I feel like it's my duty to take care of everybody in our city. But those who are most vulnerable, children, elderly, those are the ones that I have an extra duty to take care of.
Well, I think this is very inspiring for our members to hear how you can actually utilize your upbringing and the learnings that you have from JCI to lead on and to live the human duties in a very, very positive way. Today at the Human Duties Day, we are celebrating, of course, the human duties, but we're also promoting them because we think that it's important that it gets promoted around the world, that as not only as leaders but as communities, we have duties not only towards ourselves, our families, but also to the society around us. And I love that you're taking the education to your heart. You're also taking the both pursue prosperity for your local community and sustain for the future. And I think that there's probably a lot still to do in Clearwater of making sure that you are resilient as a city and community, but also bringing great things for the future. Bruce, if you should give one advice to a young person who, of course, is focused on building their lives, building their careers, busy, what would be your first advice to them if they want to have the human duties a bit more in front of them?
I would say, I would say to develop a genuine love for people. I certainly developed that through my experience with JCI. Like I've shared the story, I can share with you thousands of stories like the one I shared on riding in a car with a young person, and they were very excited to be driving around the president of JCI, and I was excited to be riding in a car with them. To really, I loved hearing their personal stories. I loved hearing about their families. I loved hearing about how either easy or hard it was in some circumstances to live where they lived, and to connect with them in a personal way that helped me hopefully inspire them to overcome obstacles and achieve their best. It's that human connection that I developed a very genuine feel for that and love for, that if I were sharing that anything with those who are watching this interview today, it would be to spend a lot of time developing that. And you develop that by having conversations with lots of people from lots of different backgrounds. As you know, you traveled, President Lars, through yourself, and it's easy to be tired being on an airplane and not have a conversation with the person next to you. That's another instance where I can't tell you how many interesting things I learned from the person next to me on an airplane, but I had to, take my nose out of the book, or I had to sometimes start a conversation with them to get there. But if you can develop that as a leader early on, you just become more and more hungry to meet new people, learn more about people, and that genuine love of people just comes through. And I can tell you as a leader today, having risen, we're the third largest city in our region, in the Tampa Bay region. We're one of the, largest cities in the state of Florida. We've got over, several 100,000 people in this city. I can tell you there are a lot of leaders who are not known for being genuine in how they care about people. They go to an event or a room and they talk to people and walk around, and people can tell that they're only doing it because they feel like they have to as a politician to do that. People can see that. But if you develop that genuine love that I'm talking about, that you have, President Lars, that many of us who have gone through JCI developed during our service in JCI, that will serve you very well going forward. It not only shapes your worldview, your leadership paradigm, but it helps you be successful, because people can really feel when you communicate with them that you really care about what they're saying, because you're so eager to learn. You don't have to prove yourself. It comes through very, very readily and transparently. So that's the one thing I would share with those who are watching this interview, is to really lean into the human experience. And I don't think there's a better organization in the world, obviously, than JCI for that. I've met, and anyone involved has the opportunity to meet so many people from so many different backgrounds, that there's no better organization in the world to introduce yourself to a variety of people from a variety of walks of life who can really help you grow and nurture that love for people.
Well, that was a beautiful message to send off today. Thank you very much for being here. We're looking forward to see you in future JCI events around the world. We meet again in Tunisia for the World Congress in November, and next year it's going to be in in the Philippines. So we'll be in Clark, Philippines in the next year, and really hope to see you in one of those events. So thank you very much, President Bruce, for your time and for your inputs to the members today. Thank you.
It's great to be here.
And of course, we are going to both Japan, and we are going to Clark next year for World Congress. Sorry for messing that up, but I think there are so many valuable words in what Bruce is saying, and I just want to hear from you guys. What do you actually think are, which of the human duties, of the 7 ones that we have, are the ones that you like the most? And I'll just put it up here. If you press 1, if it's to preserve lives, or act with altruism, it serves humanity, is sustained for the future. Number 4 is pursue prosperity. 5 is respect human personality, and 6 is educate yourself and teach others, and 7 is lead responsibly. So just type it in the chat, and we will see where people are going. So educate yourself and teach others is a leader so far. A lot of 6s, some 1, some 5, some 7. 5, 7, a lot of people coming up here with their opinions on what really matters most to them. I think it's absolutely wonderful. We have a lot on educate yourself, respect human personality, serve humanity, lead responsibly, and absolutely looking into that. So a lot of 6s and 5s, a lot of people coming up. But of course, since we are JCI, I think educate yourself and teach others is a perfect example of why we're here and what really matters to us. So thank you very much for your contribution here. Well, we're not only here today to listen to JCI presidents or United Nations former Secretary General or JCI EVPs. We're also here to hear from other members. So we have a lot of great people from around the world who just want to be the voices of duty and telling us how they actually, what the human duties mean to them and how they live them. So let's start by hearing from Georgina, who is also on a video because she is in Cuba. She will explain that to yourself, but she is in Cuba and she really wants to make sure that the connection was not limiting her from contributing to this. So let's hear from Georgina. She's the 2023 JCI Catalonia president. She was vice president of JCI last year. And this year she is leading the JCI marketing committee. And she's a marketing and strategic communication expert. So let's hear from our wonderful past VP and current chairperson.
Hello, JCI Europe. I'm Georgina from JCI Catalonia, and today I'm addressing you from Viñales, one of the most rural areas of Cuba. Cuba is a country rich in history, heritage, full of connotations, and today Cuba is a country that leads us into a deep reflection. There is no JCI in Cuba, but actually the JCI values and principles are everywhere in this country. You can feel it in the people, you can feel it in every corner of Cuba. So for me, today it's super important and meaningful to celebrate the International Human Duties with you from Cuba. In a place where the rights aren't always guaranteed is where we are needing more than ever the duties. So the duties are a grant here. They are a way to survive, a way to process, a way to progress, and a way to stay and keep being human. Cuba reminds me that human duties aren't abstract ideas. It's something that we have as leaders. We have to follow our duties. Because living is not just about ruling a country, it's not just ruling a company, a school, whatever, our daily life. Living is doing it with responsibility, knowing that when we have a role, of course we have rights, but we also have duties. And duties are important to assure the rights. So today, as JCI leaders, I invite you to go to our website, to go to JVC and look for our international human duties. Please read them, take them in deep, and start implementing it in your daily life. Because this is the only way that we can achieve the future that we are dreaming for the last 110 years. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias.
Yeah, and thank you very much to Georgina for her wonderful message. Next Voices of Duty coming up is Amel Aubert from JCI Switzerland. He's the 2025 JCI Switzerland president. He's a corporate finance and IT strategist and a business process innovator. Amel, here you are. Please go.
Hello, everyone. So, as Lars said, this year I'm national president of Switzerland. And a few years ago, I didn't, actually 2 years in a row in the middle of COVID. And I learned a lot of things throughout that period. I'm from small chapters. It was also difficult to find the right people to come on board, and some people were not really motivated at some point, and all of that became kind of like teaching. And for me, when I became a deputy president last year, one of the most important things that I wanted to bring was a weekend with the vice president, what we could share knowledge, share experience with the others, and people could really prepare for their year. So for me, one of the most important things was really to focus on the deputies and how to train them for the rest of their year as national president. And so for me, the educate yourself, teach others is really something that is a core value. And something that I did as a workshop at the end of the year, we have our um, president meeting for a day, and there I did a workshop with the local president and local vice president, where I took some case studies and I made people work on that together, and then we had a discussion. And it was work studies on how they might be in situation during the year with some troubles. And some came from personal experience, some from things that I've seen in my years of experience in JCI. For example, what happens if your local president just simply disappear out of nowhere and don't give any answer after a few months, and how do you react as a vice president, for example? Or if you have your local vice president that simply decide to give up the position 2 weeks before the GA and things like this. And so for me, the teach others is something that is a core value, but especially to share the experience that you can have so other people can share best practices, but also learn how to react, how to interpret some situation. And so, yeah, for me, that's one of the value of the human duties that I hold dearly, because I find that from one person, you can share then your knowledge to maybe 10, 15, 20 people. And there is a very strong multiplication effect that you can really impact the life or the leadership of other people.
Thank you very much for those wonderful words. I think it's great to hear how many different angles we are doing it, and how well prepared you are in the national organizations all to work with us. Let's hear from another leader, the 2025 JCI Russia President, Olesya Andreeva.
Hello, friends. I have a little speech about my experience. Why leadership is about care for me? My story, my personal story. I used to think being a leader mean being strong, confident, and control. Like you always have to know what to do. But for me, it turned out differently because I'm a psychologist and I work with the kids and teenagers in therapy groups, often for free because I just can't walk away when someone really needs help. This is not just my job. This is who I am. And through this work, I learned what real leadership means. So there was a little girl in my therapy group. She was very quiet. She never joined other kids, and she just watched like she wanted to be invited. In her first sampling session, she built a well, and inside of it, the little tiny figure, and this figure was her. It was hard to see how he felt alone. And I understood her. I've been behind that kind of wall too. Each week, her wall got smaller, then came animals and other people. One day she looked at me and said, maybe I can play with them. So it was her breakthrough, like mine too. Later, I realized that I have a sandbox people in my team, people with ideas and talent who stay quiet, not because they don't care, but because they don't feel safe. That changed my leadership and way of thinking, this experience. And I started listening differently, not just people say, but what they want to say. There was also a teenage boy. He barely spoke, always wearing a hoodie, thought no one liked him. And I didn't try to fix him. We just talked simply and honestly. And a few months later, he stood up at school and at school event, and he told his story afterwards. He came up to me and said, "I'm not scared anymore." And so we all get scared sometimes, make mistakes, doubt ourselves, and stay quiet when we have something to say. But we don't have to be perfect. Just be honest. This enough. That's how I lead now, not by giving orders, but by creating safe space where people can try, fail, go in and feel more human. A short conversation can change everything. I really believe in it. The main idea of my speech today, when I share my knowledge, I help others and also myself. I grow, get better, and become more confident and helpful. Each of us has something to share, and that's the most important leader's duty to me. This is an example for how each of us can use our strength and share our skills with others. So this is my little story for you for today.
Well, thank you very much. It was a beautiful story. Thank you. And really learning how to listen and how to, even though you're a psychologist and trained for that, there's still a lot of personal development in learning how to actually listen deeper and better. Next one is coming up is to hear from not a national president or a vice president. It's actually hear from a local president from JCI Montpellier in France. Anthony Gontier was the 2022 JCI Montpellier president. He's the 2025 JCI France Congress co-director. He's also a biodiversity integrator. He's an environmental engineer, and he's an urban nature advocate. So, Anthony, the floor is yours.
Thank you. All is stated by it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, leadership is not a privilege. It is a profound responsibility. As members of Junior Chamber International, we are called not only to lead, but to lead with purpose, guided by the Universal Declaration of Human Duties for Leaders. This declaration reminds us that leadership begins with preserving life and protecting dignity for the vulnerable. True leaders sustain the future, not just for today, but for generations to come. We must champion sustainability, protect our environment, and make decisions that honor the legacy we leave behind. So let me introduce myself. My name is Anthony Gontier. I'm a member of JCI France, as you said, and I'm thrilled to present you my way of protecting life and especially wildlife. 5 years ago, I created a company dedicated to help people to reconnect with nature in urban areas. How do you do that, you may say? I designed an innovative equipment composed with a compact flower pot, a bird colony, and 2 bat nests, in one to be hung on a balcony. By this, as a city inhabitant, you can easily give back some space to that city wildlife deeply crave and connect to the common species by making a step back in your everyday life, letting them live and reproduce, and daily observing them. Now, it is my duty to spread my idea and make it real for a large number of people. You can know that 2025 is the first year where birds were nesting during this very spring. So give the ability to newbies to give biodiversity a chance to prosper was for me the best reward I could ever imagine. So to conclude, in my opinion, leadership is all about action and inheritance, but also integrity and service. We must lead with courage, compassion, and commitment, because the world needs leaders who do not just speak of change, but will live it in their flesh. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Anthony. I think it's so wonderful to hear what you're doing for the environment and what other people are doing. Please show in the comments what you're thinking, both those of you who are watching us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, or wherever we are, and of course those who are joining us here in the Zoom room. That's one of the privileges you have as a JCI member, is that you can actually join these kind of sessions live, and you can be part of the workshops. So make sure that if you haven't found a JCI local chapter nearby you, go to jci.cc and find the local chapter near you. We'll absolutely be there to help you, or just contact us on any social media. We'll be happy to help you find a way to do great things. We're moving on with more voices. All the way from JCI Hong Kong, we have Lucy Young. Lucy is the 2024 JCI JVC Promotion Committee Chairperson. She's the 2025 JCI Global Collaboration Committee Chairperson, and really doing a lot of great for the organization. So, Lucy, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, President Lars, and thank you for EVP Anna to inviting me to join this session. I'm actually here in Japan now at midnight. I'm just yesterday morning, I had a great session at the JCI Academy. So all the leaders all around the world for JCI for next year. So we're sitting together and discuss about how they can implement the international human duties in their action plan next year. And we also share the great news with them about the ZULA, the first law of human duty rights, and also just 1 day ago, one province in Philippines have also just passed a resolution to celebrate International Human Duties Day. And we are also working together to increase the number of petitions. Actually, 7 days ago, our number is 35,000. So we're saying, okay, in these 7 days, can we hit 40,000? Okay, I think we're pretty much over there, just about 100 something to go. I'm very sure by the end of the session, we're going to hit 40,000. So this year, as the chairperson for the Global Collaboration Committee, one of our key initiatives is to promote this international human duties. And frankly speaking, this year is my happiest year working in JCI because of this initiative. It's because I got the chance to talk with more people and also to share this message out. I believe leadership is not about big things, but about the small things you do every day in your life. Everything we do can contribute to somebody else's life. So that's why, for example, this year, when we designed the social media campaign, instead of just putting a standard things like I'm celebrating International Human Duties Day, what we add is we want everybody to also share about your industry, what's your business, and what's your belief, and what's your own personal message related to international human duties. It's because I believe the organization is there because of every one of us. So we are actually leaving our message out every day. Why you are contributing to your job, your business, your JCI is because you have that message inside you. So I think it's time for every one of us to leave our message out and tell everyone your belief. So that's why we want to put this into your social media posts. So it's not only help us to promote international human duties, but also promote your own belief so that you can attract the people to you, and or you can make the world a better place for every small things you do. So that's just a small sharing from me, and hope by every one of us working together, we can have greater achievement this year, next year, and finally we can achieve our goal to get this International Human Duties Day officially passed at the United Nations General Assembly. Fighting!
Well, wonderful, and you are actually fighting. I think it's wonderful how you're educating the next generation of JCI national leaders in Japan, really making sure that we get this into the plan of action, not only in the national organization, but also in local organizations worldwide. So if you're sitting out there in the Zoom room, or you are online, we've already had several hundreds watching us online, which is beautiful. Really making sure that this initiative is not something that has to be done on a global level. This is something that you can actually do also on a local level. Next coming up is from another part of the world, is from all the way from JCI Argentina. It's Franco Cagnotti. He's the 2019 JCI Argentina president. He was 2022 JCI vice president, and he's the 2024 JCI Junior JCI Club and Alumni Committee chairperson. And he works with human resources and talent management as an expert in his daily life. So, Franco, the floor is yours.
Thank you, President Lars. Hello, everyone. Today is a very important day. Actually, 3 years ago in 2022, as President Lars said, I served as JCI Vice President. And as member of the BOD, I had the privilege of being part of this founding team behind this initiative of human duties led by President Argenis. And today, as I see how this conversation is grown, is spread, I feel a deep sense of gratitude, but also a strong reminder, which is that when we push forward these kind of ideas or initiatives, we have a duty of responsibility to honor its purpose. So I live out that sense of responsibility every day through my startup, Made People Consulting. As President Lars said, I work in human resources and diversity. And when EVP Anna invited me to share an everyday example, I thought of a company I recently support. They were struggling to integrate diverse team members. And instead of avoiding this conflict, I work with their leaders to create different safe spaces for open dialogue, for mutual understanding. And it was not easy at all, of course, as you can imagine, but the result was a healthier work environment and reduction of employee turnover. So that began as a challenge, but thinking and acting with this responsibility, we became as a path of a collective strength. Also, as an immigrant in Spain, because I'm originally from Argentina, but I'm living in Spain since 2020, I feel a duty of give back to this community that welcomed me many years ago. So that's why through my startup, we run programs to help migrants enter to the job market through different mentorship, career support, and skill development. And just let me share some numbers because I always like to share that. According to data from the European Commission, only the 54% of migrants in Europe work in jobs aligned with their level of education. So for me, that's crazy. So 54% only. So working on that reality is just not a matter of social justice, it's also about civic commitment. So I truly believe that fulfilling our duties happens in the small things. We don't need to think just globally. In a difficult conversation, we don't avoid, or in a hand that we reach out in, or in doing the right things, I think we are being with our commitment in these human duties. So this day, mainly every July 10th, reminds me that being a global leader means more than just belonging. It's about showing up and getting involved. And in that, I think all the people that we are in this room and also who are looking from different social medias have a role to play on this. So thank you very much for this opportunity. EVP Anna, thanks for all your attention and of course the organizing team as well. So I'm coming back to you, Lars.
Thank you very much for your wonderful comments. I think it's great that you've had the commitment for many years now and still contributing to the development of people around the world, but also promoting the human duties. Last but not least, we are still missing a continent because we need to hear how the human duties are voiced in South Africa. We have the 2021 JCI South Africa Africa President, Silindile Mbaza, who was also the 2024 JCI Vice President. She's the 2025 JCI Executive Assistant to the President. She's a sales coach, business development specialist, and an international speaker. So, Silindile, please, your floor is yours. Let's hear your voice.
Thank you. Thank you so much, President Lars, and good evening to all the leaders across the world. I'm so excited to be celebrating International Human Duties Day. And I think, like all of the speakers that have said, previously, it's not about today. It's about what we are continuously living every single day and what we believe as leaders who serve in this organization. When I joined the organization, the first thing that I noticed as a duty, as somebody who belongs to this organization, is leading responsibly. And that has been my story from the beginning of my journey till today, because I've understood that if you take responsibility as a personal action to take care of somebody else, it can change their entire life and the generation that they also follow. So when I first, moved to Cape Town, I was alone, I didn't have a network, and I was just fresh out of university. And when I found an organization where I could, belong, and I wanted to increase my confidence and self-esteem through speaking, I found Senator Uno, who it was the person who picked up the call. That was the most important call of my life, because if it was somebody who didn't, act responsibly, didn't take the time to listen to what I was looking for in life in this new city that I was in, I would have not have gotten into this organization as deeply as I have. In 2017, when I was local president, I went through unemployment. South Africa has one of the highest youth unemployment rates in the world. And we are not, separate from that. And so when I was local president with a lot of responsibility, having to lead my own organization, my own world was falling apart. And at that time, again, I had to remember what it meant to be a leader and people looking up to you and having hope in what you're saying, what you're teaching, the trainings that we're giving at the time. And that's when I really built resilience and the understanding that no matter what you're going through, if you're given the opportunity to lead others, it is then your responsibility to pass the baton on and give hope to someone, even if you don't have it. And it is through that time that I needed to change the situation in my country. And this year, I'm happy to be launching a campaign to get 5,000 people employed by the end of next year. So it is something that we're living today, and I've gotten it from this organization. It has been my bread and butter, and I was able to stand up from nothing and be educated. And then now the responsibility is on me to educate others who don't have the opportunity to sit in the rooms that I sit in. So I'm thankful to the organization, and we will continue to celebrate this day for years to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Silendili. It's so wonderful to hear your personal stories and your voice. And I think I'm not the only one impressed with the voices that we've had from all around the world on how we actually working on the human duties. And I'm proud to be part of this organization that actually does this. We're going to have next is a panel of three great JCI leaders that I'm really looking forward to for you to have a conversation with. As I wrote in the chat, and I think it's posted on the social media as well, make sure that you put a Q and a colon and then write your questions if you have questions for the panel. Also mention if there's some specific that you want to ask a question. But let me start by introducing our wonderful panel. We have with us today, we have great leaders. We have Tessa from JCI the Netherlands, who brings over 13 years of experience in cultural and museum sector with a strong background in managerial and managing impactful multi-stakeholder projects and internationally renowned exhibitions. In JCI, she currently serves as the 2025 JCI Events and Programs Committee member and has been appointed as the director of the 2027 JCI European Conference. This year, she was recognized as the 2025 most outstanding member of JCI Europe. She combines her passion for storytelling, strategy, and design to create meaningful experiences that inspire dialogue and reflection. We also have with us Marlene Wehner from JCI Germany. She's the 2025 JCI European Academy Head Trainer. She's 2023 JCI Vice President, 2022 JCI Germany President, and also a very good friend of mine. She's a training mentor doing a fantastic job as that. Marlene joined JCI in 2013, and she held key leadership roles, including National President of JCI Germany, Vice President of Europe, a highly respected trainer and debater. She mentors future JCI trainers and empowers leaders through her company focused on positive leadership, coaching, and team development. Last but not the least, the reason why we're here tonight, the initiator of this wonderful program, Argenis Angulo from JCI Venezuela in the wonderful state of Zulia. Argenis is a passionate leadership development expert with over 18 years of experience designing and delivering executive coaching, advanced training programs, and keynote speakers for leaders and organizations worldwide. 2022 JCI President and Director General of Mejorar International. He has trained over 100,000 leaders across more than 100 cities and is certified by institutions such as Wharton, George Washington University, and ATD. Argenis is an initiator of the Universal Declaration of Human Duties. So welcome to our panel. I would like to start by giving you, and I want to know this is challenging. And of course, we also have our JCI Europe EVP Anna, who do not need any more introductions. She's a wonderful leader leading the team of JCI Europe this year, all the way from the beautiful coast of the Black Sea in Bulgaria. She is a wonderful leader working in the IT sector, but this year she's mainly dedicating herself to making JCI Europe the greatest it has ever been. So welcome to the panelists. And for those we haven't heard from yet, Anna, you're not being allowed to talk right now. I would love to give the floor first to, I guess maybe the youngest one. I'd like to give the floor to Tessa, just 1 minute about what are your thoughts on human duties and why do you think they are so important for us?
Well, I was in the 2022. I saw it happen like over the year. All this, it was organized, everything, and during the European Conference and the World Congress, and it was amazing. So it was very inspirational for me. And the word privilege has already been mentioned, and I think it's a privilege for me to be able to think about this and discuss with you about these human duties regarding also human rights. So I think it's our duty as leaders in JCI and this organization to take the responsibility to do something. Today, tomorrow, was for the love of people. And for me, it's really a moral compass, like it was already said as well, but more like a checklist, a compass to abide by, to contemplate and to act upon tomorrow, today, and the years to come.
Wow, thank you very much, Tessa. It's wonderful to hear. And once again, congratulations on your most outstanding member of JCI Europe. We're really looking forward to 27 next year. It's going to be amazing with you as the leader. A good friend of mine who's also served a lot, especially in the 6th human duty of educating others and and educating yourself. Marlene, same question to you. Why is this important?
Yeah, thank you so much for the question. I feel like this is something where you would think for me as a trainer, not just in JC, but also my professional life, educating myself and teaching others is the most important. And yet it is the fundamental base of what I'm doing. But there's more that I have to do for being successful in that, because of course it is always about pursuing prosperity when working with businesses. So very often the need of working with people, especially in the businesses, is driven by pursuing prosperity. Yet you also have to understand that there's so many different personalities to be also successful in the business life and working together with teams successfully, understanding why do people see the world in different ways? How can we combine all of this knowledge? And how can we combine different personalities to have high-performing teams? This is something that I love to do, not just in my professional work, but that is especially being educated in my work as a JC member and all the travels I was allowed to have so far. And of course, it all comes down to leading responsibly. So these are the things that I would say are the most important for me, because I was allowed not just on the one hand to experience all of this, and I feel a big gratitude for that, to be as a global citizen in all of these different cities. To give an example, I had the honor of traveling 4 continents in the last 5 weeks. This is incredible. So I'm still processing all of the information, and I'm still processing all of the great experiences that I was allowed to have. So starting from being a national president in 22 and having a paper being brought by President Argenis, I think we started with 22 positions about the human duties, and all the national presidents were like, that sounds like a lot of work. It sounds like a lot of paperwork also. To see now how it comes to life, this is an incredible process. To see how we can utilize it, how we can bring it to life. And it's not just paperwork, it's way beyond. It's, as everybody already said, it's like a moral compass, but it's not just a guidance, and it just comes to life when we all try to pursue it. And that is super exciting to see, and I'm very amazed by all of the different stories. And I'm also very grateful to have heard all of them. And I feel like we should share more of them. It's good news, and we should keep on sharing them. So that's why the human duties are, for me, so coming from paperwork to reality, and to see how it makes people flourish. That is an incredible opportunity that we're having here right now.
Thank you very much, Marlene. Before we give the last panelist the floor, I would like to encourage all of you to ask some questions, because this is your chance to get the opinions, get some questions answered from the panelists. So make sure that you ask some questions. You just ask them in the chat, and we'll be ready to take your questions in just a minute or two, because we want to hear from the father of it all, the person who initiated the Universal Declaration of Human Duties, my good friend, JCI past president, or JCI president, well, we'll actually call him President, Argenis Angulo. The floor is yours, Angulo.
Thank you so much, my friend, bro, and President Lars. And I'm very, very, very happy, because it's so meaningful for me to be here in Europe again, especially because what is mentioned by Marlene. The first public explanation about the vision was in Europe, 2022 National President's Meeting. In the period of the pandemic, we were restarting our dynamic as worldwide organization with in-person events, but at this moment, the National President Meeting was online. And I remember very well how I felt at this moment. I felt today more or less as in the same way, because I respect each of you a lot, and I prepare myself for this panel. But I remember myself preparing my mind maps as I prepare for this session, in terms of defining, okay, what will be my first message, how I will develop the proposal. And you know, this first presentation was very challenging. Very, that's right. You can see the face of Marlene that represent the national presidents here. Also, maybe EDC Chair Hannah was there. I don't know who else. There are more people here that maybe was there on the session. But in any case, it was very, very challenging, because I was very passionate about it. Talking as usually I talk so fast. Sharing each single article on this first proposal. 21 articles was part of. 21 articles. And the summarized response of the European national presidents was something as, okay, what is that? I need a little bit more of information. We need more time for that. I never listened something about it. It's human rights, it's human duties. What is happening here? And because all this feedback and all the reflections and this moment, I prepare myself for the next and the next and the next step. And then I'm happy to say that the European leaders are an amazing part of this final result of the Universal Declaration of Human Duties. And that is very relevant for me to mention that, because the first stage of this proposal was to do a kind of research, because there are, on the history of humanity, previous efforts, documents about human obligations or responsibilities made by Nobel Prizes in, I don't know, in Valencia, Spain, for example, or in Africa, through a head states association. Well, I did a research about it. And then we present a proposal that was part of the result of this research. But the meaningful thing that JCI, that difference any other moment of the history of humanity in which someone present a proposal, is that this proposal was made for all of us. This proposal passed through the filter of all the cultures, all the political visions, all the philosophies, for ensuring that really is a universal declaration. And you are all part of that. And I really think, as I mentioned during several speeches, presentations, especially during the JCI presidency, that we are creating a big, huge milestone on the history of the entire humanity. And in the years to come, we will see how it will become in a very popular thing, as we have a lot of people that we follow in social media that put on the biography and a defender of human rights, and it's very nice, and in terms of marketing sexy, it will be so sexy for the world. It is our challenge that we put on our Instagram accounts, Facebook accounts, of the next social media that appear in the future, that we are not only human duties ambassadors, leaders, or promoters, but the founders of this initiative that will change the entire vision of humanity.
Well, thank you very much, Argenis, for these wonderful words. We already have questions coming in, and I think let's start with one for you, Argenis. Lucy asks here. Let me just make this a bit bigger, like this. Lucy is asking, how can we cut from 21 articles to 7 articles? Let's hear the story.
Thanks for this question to clarify this process. We started with a proposal that was the result of a research. And because the JCI presidency journey, I had the opportunity to talk and to receive feedback from a lot of leaders from all over the world, JCI members, head of states, journalists, business people, but also through the JCI events, we open official focus group workshop sessions on the area conferences, for example, for receiving feedback from our members. Also, I would like to recognize the amazing support of JCI headquarters at this moment also, to process all this information, to receive feedback, to study the documents. And with a global committee, we worked during the entire year on the first proposal for ensuring that everything was included. But to summarize and finalize this response, also, the big challenge, as I previously mentioned, was that this proposal becoming in a real universal proposal. For example, on the first paper, I was part of my thoughts, just an example. Okay, it's our duty to defend democracy, for example. But result that democracy is not the number one solution or the perfect model, political model in the entire planet. And for a lot of countries, that is good. And it is part of the universal culture. It means that we pass through a lot of criteria, the document, for ensuring that is really universal. And that's why we arrived to this proposal of these 7 human duties.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that both question and also the answer. Marlene, I love that your reaction to Argenis' talk about how you discussed it in Europe was very European, and it is. I know all international world presidents, all presidents fear the European national presidents meeting. That's always where you get the blunt and the not necessarily very polite answers to anything. So that shows how it is to work in an international organization. But to follow up on that, Marlene, you've been following it since you've been a national president, vice president, and others. Anuel has a very good question about what can we do to go from petition to concrete actions in the future. What have you seen in your travels just to 4 continents this year of what are we actually doing, not only to talk about it, but actually moving forward with the human duties?
Actually, my last travel went to New York, and we had some 4-day celebration activities around the human duties. And I think that is a great example on how little actions can be combined to a whole movement, to a whole event, where we were focusing on several of the human duties. For example, we had a community project together with JCI the Philippines, New York. There is a big Filipino community for example, in Queens, and they noticed that in this suburb they have a big diversity, and the diversity of this community also has the implement problem that there is a lot of struggles since COVID, especially when it comes to financial sustainability, when it comes to sustaining the businesses and such. And so they started an every month project where they are just packing packages of food, for example, and supporting the local businesses by marketing where they get the food from, for example, and they would give it to families in need. They can just line up and get those packages. It was called Bundles of Hope, and I really think this is a project where you could also very easily achieve an impact. It was fun to pack them, so it was for the members. It was very engaging to say it like that. It is a way where you can also use marketing very easily because it is a direct community impact. It was also engaging, of course, for the businesses who could be use this maybe more or less as a marketing platform. So we also had other projects where we were just supporting a local park. We cleaned up that park, right? So because it was a community meeting spot in the most diverse street in the US, or if not the world, to create a spot where the people could meet up safely, where they could celebrate their cultures, where they could meet peacefully, where they could find some peace and quiet in the noise of New York. So those kind of things we should always consider, and also how we could combine it with the values and needs of our communities. I think putting the human duties in action is something we always do. We're just not aware of it. So maybe also rethink what kind of projects do you already do? How do they serve the SDGs? How do those projects already serve the human duties? And how could we combine this? Or how can we make minor tweaks to ensure this is also sustainable? For example, very often we do community projects that are just charity. I don't want to condemn them, but if it's not sustainable and we don't clear the root cause, then we will do it every other year. So just try to find a solution that also would help the people to find sustainable solutions. And I think there's a lot of work to do with the projects we already have and just enhance them a little bit. And I think that would already serve both the projects that we already have and the purpose that we're following with the human duties.
Thank you. Anastasia has a question. I'll ask that to you, Tessa, because I know you are a lot into communication. You're also seeing a lot as both active on a local and a national and international level. Anastasia is asking a question that says, as JCI members often lead social impact projects, what marketing strategies have you seen work best when communicating purpose and responsibility?
Thank you for that question. It continues really Marlene's answer, because if you have your impact project, it's really relevant and it really addresses the root cause of local issues, etc. Then you have to go back to your why. So why are you organizing this? And I've seen that if you make it very personal and go back to really your core message and why you want to address this, why is it relevant, and make it personal. Use your storytelling. I think it's very if you really address it like on a more personal level, like we do today, like what human duties mean to us as members and as people as well, then your message comes across much more sincere as well. And I think that's really one of the strong suits of the Human Duties Day, and also, of course, in the purpose and impact projects that we do. So I think if it's really from the heart and really from the relevance of the project, then I think you're good to go. I think that's really the core of my answer, to answer your question.
Thank you very much. Just before we end our live session, because we have 7 minutes left of our live session, I want to ask all of you guys to just in the chat, let's hear. We could talk a lot about what others should do, but what are you actually going to do as an individual? What are you actually going to do? And I would love to see all the answers coming up on our chat. We'll put them up here so we can see them coming. I will have to go a little bit further like this. So what are you actually going to do? Just in one word, put it up there. What are you going to do about this? And while you're putting in your words and we're making that coming up, I would like to give the floor to Anna, because EVP Anna, Europe, we sometimes have a tendency to talk. When we're looking at the speed of politics and speed of innovation, we are kind of sometimes a little bit slow. But how can we in JCI Europe, seen from your perspective, how can we actually be the front runners in bringing human duties into our daily lives and really making an impact with that? So the floor is yours, Anna.
Thank you, President Lars, and to all of that already spoke before me. Well, I agree. We sometimes tend to speak a bit more, but the thing is that we care, and this is our way to show that we care. And I don't see it as an issue or something that we have. It's our strength, because we show our care through our discussions and the things that we want to put on the table. And this, for me, is the way that we can move it and go through this. To speak about it, to really act on what we are discussing, but really to make sure that everybody is on the same page on the things that we are doing. Because one thing that I truly believe is that it's the common goal that we have. And if we agree after certain discussions that sometimes we have, if we agree on something that we need to do it, then we can do it even better, because we have this synergy. Everybody believes in what we are aiming for, what we are going to, what is our main purpose of the things that we are doing. So for me, we just have to turn this thing that sometimes I know it seems like something not so nice, but I truly believe it's our strength. And also in a way to show how we care to the others. Of course, it's very important to listen, and it's not that we are not listening. I'm absolutely sure about it. It's also about showing that when we listen, we also try to put our perspective. But it's also good to see what are the others doing and to be more observant and more welcoming on different ways. So this can help us. But again, discussing, it's helpful when we have at the end of the discussion something that we all agree on, and that's something we can take an action. It's like a commitment that we are doing. And for me, commitment is something that we can do well, and commitment is something that can move us also with the human duties, because we commit to human duties by the things that we are stating on, but also with our actions. And so this is my answer, and I hope it's covering what you're looking for.
It's absolutely covering what I'm looking for. I want to say thank you to our panelists. I think it's wonderful to have you here, and there's a lot of good things going on. I see a lot of great words coming up on our panel from comments coming in, both on social media and from our place here. I think that what we're looking for is awareness, empathy is coming up from Anastasia. I think that there's a lot of things that we can do in the world. And one of them, of course, is to do what we do in JCI, is to provide leadership development opportunities that empower young people to create positive change. So if you're sitting out there in if you're looking at us on social media, I really want to encourage you to look up JCI on social media, on our websites, and really make sure that if you're between the age of 18 and 40, and you have more ambitions than your friends, JCI is absolutely the organization for you to join, not only to work on the human duties, but actually working on educating yourself, educating others, and leading responsibly. So for those of you who are with us on social media, we would like to say goodbye. Thank you very much for showing up. And for those of you who are here in the Zoom room, we will have an informal talk for just a couple of minutes. And really looking forward to see some of the other great things that are coming up. Because I know that we are looking at how we can actually do this in Europe. JCI Know-how Transfer is coming up in the months to come. A project where JCI leaders and members from all around Europe is shadowing a parliament member in Brussels for a day or two, and really making sure that we can not only learn how politics is done, but we can also impact those leaders to take even better decisions, and making sure that they understand that they also need to lead with responsibility and live the human duties every single day. So thank you very much for those of you who are with us online. I hope to see you in our organization if you're not already a member. We're really looking forward to see you in many, many other different places around the world, and to future shows of JCI Europe. So thank you very much to you guys out there.